Beginning of the game, you don't have any value if you're just standing in lane like this. You're not accomplishing anything. So just watch for an invade or something. So you're actually doing something valuable. So as a mid laner, you can
Okay.
go. Hold on, let me fix this. There you go. Oh wait. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix this real quick. Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
There we go. Okay. Okay. So as a mid laner, you can sit right here and watch this area of the jungle, or you can sit on the opposite side. Like, you could sit here, or you could sit here, and you just want to watch this area of the jungle, right? But do something so you at least have value. When you're sitting in lane like this, you're not accomplishing anything.
Okay.
And invades are really big for your jungler, so being able to give them that kind of information is very important. Okay, so one big thing I noticed is that you're way too focused on kills. Kills are not your
Okay.
priority in the game. The priority is
Okay.
the Nexus, right? The Nexus is what wins you games, right?
Right.
So anything that leads to the Nexus should be your priority. So towers, objectives, inhibitors, so on and so forth. And the further we get up, the less valuable things are. So obviously these two inhibitor towers, these are going to be some of the most valuable things in the game because they lead to the Nexus tower, right? Or to the Nexus. Um, and then the inhibitors, are a little less valuable, and the tower is less valuable. And eventually, when you get down to the end here, at the beginning of the lane, you get to these towers, and these towers are kind of valuable, but again, they're what help us get to the Nexus, which is the important part. We want to get to the Nexus. So things that lead to us getting multiple towers are going to be the most valuable things, like Rift Herald, Baron. Um, Dragons are good because they give us damage and it gives us gold that we can invest into items, or we can invest or just have to do additional damage to towers. And it can help us win team fights. Team fights are really nice because, again, they give us gold that lets us get items, and items let us kill towers. But if we win a team fight, we're also more likely to win the next team fight because the gold that we got from that team fight we can invest and put into items, and then we'll have an item advantage on the enemy team, and we can use that item advantage to win the next team fight. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So team fights are very valuable because, again, the more team fights we win, the more team fights we will win in the future. And when we win team fights, that's the best time for us to get objectives. And objectives are what get us to the Nexus, right? So after you win a
Okay.
team fight, you can get a tower out of it, you can get a dragon out of it, you can get a baron, or you could even end the game off of it. So very valuable, right? Kills and of themselves, they are kind of valuable because they give us gold, but unless it's a team fight, it's not super valuable, right? Because you don't necessarily get objectives out of a kill. Um, so kills should just be like kind of just something in the back of our mind. It should not be our priority. Our priority should not be getting kills. Our priority should be getting objectives and getting gold. And right now, in the laning phase, the most consistent way for you to get gold is by killing these minions. So you should be focused more
Okay.
so on killing minions than you should be on the champions. However, here's the important part, okay? Whenever there is a good trade for you, a winning trade, you should always take that trade. If you know you're going to win, you should always take it. So if this
Okay.
person, if Ari walks up too far and makes a mistake, then and we know we can beat her, then we should always walk up and start beating her because she just let us beat her, right? So if you know you win a trade, you should always take that winning trade. And so that's how we can turn things into kills. Is if people continue to make mistakes and we see these advantages, then we can turn it into a kill. But we shouldn't be forcing ourselves to get a kill when there really is no kill for us to get. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So in summary, we kind of talked about minions, right?
Sorry if there's any noise in the background. I live with almost 10 people and a dog. So,
Oh, no worries. Um,
okay.
in summary,
Continue, please.
kills are not our priority. It should be getting gold slash getting objectives. But if we have free trades, free damage, or if we can get a free kill, then we should be looking for a kill. But otherwise, if we don't know if we win a fight, then we should not be taking that fight. Make sense? Hello? Make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, since you didn't ask, I was focused and I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no, no, you're good. Okay. So yeah, here's level 1. It's pretty early for us to be trading with RA, because again, there's really no reason to be trading with her, because we don't necessarily have an advantage right now. Now, when we do get an advantage, or when we do get it to a point where we can start trading as level 2. So I'm okay with you stepping up here and forcing Ari back, so you can farm better, but you shouldn't be trying to fight her here. Because Ari can just land her Q from range and just do damage to you for free. So you should just be focusing on CSing here, getting level 2. That is a good trade though. Very well done. Also, here's another big thing I noticed, right? Look at your... Okay, how should I say this? Okay, so look at...
Excuse me for a second, please. Can you excuse me for a second?
Yep.
Sorry. Really sorry.
Oh, you're good. Alright, are you good now?
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Continue, continue.
Alright, so look at health potions, right? Look at the description that gives. Drink the potion to restore 120 health over 15 seconds. So you have to, in order to get 120 health, you have to use your potion for 15 seconds. So, with that being said, does it make sense to use our potion right before we're about to die?
No,
No, right? We should be using
it's
our...
more like a last desperate attempt to not die, to be honest.
Yeah, so we should be using it before we get to that point. Because essentially, another way to look at it, right, is this potion right here is just 120 health. It's literally just 120 health that you can add to your character. And look at your health bar right now. You have 630. 120 health is a lot to add, right? And then we have 3 of them. So it's 360 health, which should put us at 990 health. That's a lot of HP to have, level 1, right? The important part is that we have to use it over the course of 15 seconds to get that amount of health. So anytime we're missing more than 200 HP, we should be using our potion. And why do you think I say 200 HP and not like 120 or 130 HP or something like that?
I don't know.
It's because of your region, your health region. So you're
Oh,
gonna regen health over time. So let's say I use a potion exactly when I'm missing 120 health, right? My natural health regen
okay.
is going to be going as well. So by the time 15 seconds have passed, I'm not going to get the full use of my potion because all my health is healed back up, right? So that's why
Okay.
give yourself a little bit of extra health. So like 200 HP. Once you're missing 200 HP, you should be using your potion, right? So get in the habit of doing that. I want to see you using your potions a lot earlier. Another thing, let's say you know that you're going to get into an extended trade with RA, right? In that case, you should use your potion as soon as you start taking damage to get it healing you as early as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't even know how could I not think about it.
You said what?
I don't even know how could I not think about it sooner.
Yeah, it's just it's small things like this, but
Uh, Excuse me
these
for a second. They
okay.
are literally playing fucking boxing behind my back. I'm going to tell them kind.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I kicked them out.
Oh, no worries. Okay.
Okay, continue, please.
So now that we've talked about potions, right? When you're missing this much health, like we should have already used one potion and maybe even used a second potion. Um, Another thing, right? So generally speaking, we don't want to be trading CS or gold specifically. We don't want to be trading gold for health because if you keep doing that over and over, eventually you're gonna lose all your health, right? It's really not good for laning, especially when there's a jungler and you're playing mid lane. You're gonna get dove really easily if you're constantly trading gold for HP. The good thing is that we're Riven, right? Riven has a lot of mobility. She has shields. She has CC, right? So you should be using this
Right.
to help you secure minions that you otherwise want to be able to without taking a lot of damage. So like here, right, when Ari's poking you, you could use your E to soak the damage that she's doing to you, and then you could um, secure the gold from the minion. Or alternatively, if you want to fight her, you could again soak the damage that she's doing and then go in on her. But either way, I think here you should be going your E instead of your W so that we can, because she's a poke champ, right? She's a poke champ, and so it's more favorable for us to take our E and shield her damage than it is to take W if we can't just get right on top of her, which we can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Another thing, okay, right? This is important. Um, when you go in here, we kind of already talked about, you shouldn't randomly be fighting, right? This is a random fight, but other than that, the issue with this fight, ta wa watch this and tell me what's wrong with this. Once you go in here, tell me what's wrong with what you did. Okay. Do you see what you did wrong?
yeah. I tried to engage when I was too far, and she could poke me with distance.
Yeah, that's an important part, right? There's a couple things there, but that is one of the big ones, right? You engage when you're really far away, and all she has to do is walk away, right? And she's a range champion, so it's much easier, especially in mid lane when the distance between the the middle of the lane and the towers is really short. It's easier for her to get damage off on us and just walk away for free, right? So this is why it's important for us to not take random trades, because then we put ourselves in situations like this, where we were doing perfectly fine in lane, and then all of a sudden we decide to fight her, and because we decide to fight her, we just start losing, when we just didn't need to do that. If we didn't do that, we'd have more HP right now, and we'd be in a better position in lane. Another thing is the way you went into the fight. You used 2 of your Qs to gap close, right? Use 2 Qs to get up to her. The issue with that is that's a big source of your damage because you're passive and then the damage those Qs do as well, especially at level 1, level 2, right? So the issue is that you're using most of your Q and then you only have one other ability to do damage with, which is your W. So when you're trying to fight someone, you want to maximize the efficiency of your ability usage. So if it's our Q, right, ideally we want to use all of our Qs on our opponent to do damage to them, right? If it's our shield, ideally we want to shield a source of damage, right? And then with our stun, ideally we would want to chain our CC or chain our crowd control effects, or we just want to lock them down so we can secure a kill or lock them down to prevent them from doing damage to us. With that being said, if we use 2 of our Qs, that's like 100 plus damage we're missing out on. And then also, on top of that, like we said before, she's in tower range now, so we can't even do anything. So does that all make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
Don't worry if I don't talk. I usually don't like talking much,
Oh,
so
no
that's
worries.
why.
I just I'm gonna ask that after everything I say. It's just to make sure that you understand everything. And if you don't, we can talk more in detail about it.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And then here again, we kind of talked about this already, but your potions, right? You have 2 potions right now, which is 240 health. So you could have almost 500 health right now, which would put you around right here. Instead, you're getting ready to die. And if we keep watching, we'll see how long it takes you to use your potion. Still haven't used it. Haven't used it. Boom. She ignites us. So what is it? Do you know what ignite does?
I should have drank the potion or try to use E to suck the damage.
Yeah, but the thing that ignite does is it gives grievous wounds. So it makes your healing less. So if you're using a potion after you get ignited, then does it say how much? Oh, 40%, yeah. So if you use a potion and you get ignited, your potion will heal you for 40% less than it normally does, right?
Right.
So normally, if you want the most efficient usage of your potion, you want to use it before then. And instead, now that she's ignited us and now that we're low health, now we use our potion. And you can see we have 49 HP and we're using our potion. If she lands a Q on you here, you used your potion and you died and it maybe healed you for like 5 health. Alright, I really want you to get in the habit of using those earlier. Oh, another thing I kind of talked about. So generally speaking, when you're trying to find a recall timing, try to recall on cannon minion waves. So for you, it'd be when your minions have a cannon minion. So here, or sorry, no, sorry, it's when they have a cannon minion. So here, I would push this wave and then I'd recall, because this is a cannon minion wave, right?
Okay.
So push this really fast and then recall. The good thing about this is the cannon minion will soak like I don't know, like 8 tower shots before it dies, whereas normal minions only take like 4. So the good thing about that is that it gives you more time to get back to lane before you lose anything. So, and it'll take 8 tower shots, and you'll only lose 1 minion worth of XP and gold, compared to 8 tower shots, and you lose 2 minions of uh 2 minions worth of XP and gold. So that's why we like to back on cannon minion waves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes when you're behind though, you just have to recall, because it's better than to recall than stay and die. Oh, and I notice you don't get potions a lot. Just get in the habit of, um, if you have enough money for a refillable early, like your first or second back, try and get a refillable. Because refillables are very, very gold efficient.
Okay.
Again, let's look at this trade, right? So this is good. I told you Ari. So I told you here, right? If we hit tab and we look at Ari right now, we look at her items. All she has is a Doran's drink. Whereas if we look at our items, we have a Vampiric Scepter and we have 2 refillable potions. So who should win this fight?
Ari, because she's level 6. She has her ultimate and I don't.
She is level 6, but let's look at
Oh,
her mana. She doesn't have any mana, right?
oh. I think I engaged here anyway,
Yeah, you do.
but I think it's got to run away. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is why I told you to engage, right? Because she has no mana, she has less items than you, so she's gonna have less damage, and she doesn't have any potions, but you do. You have 2 potions, right? So these are things that you need to be asking yourself or considering yourself when you're playing. Hit tab, look at items. Do you have an item advantage? If you have an item advantage, then good. Then you're more than likely to win a fight. Do you have a potion advantage? Do you have more health or do you have more mana than them? Right? And then you can kind of combine those things. And when you see multiple issues, like, oh, she doesn't have any mana, she also has less items, she has no potions. Now we should know that we win a fight, right? Um, but you can't make this mistake again where you're way back here and then you're using your abilities to gap close. So you use your E here, you use all 3 of your Qs, and we used our W too early, but we used our
Yeah.
E and all 3 of our Qs, and all we did in that time frame with all those abilities is we knocked her up. That's it. We barely even did damage to her. Because again, you're using all of your damage before you even get to her. You're wasting all of it. Your shield you completely wasted. Your Q1, Q2 you completely wasted. Right? So what I would do here is literally just walk up to her. There's no reason to use your abilities. Literally just walk up to her. So instead of playing back here, you know you win fights, right? So path up here, play right here. So that if she wants to farm minions, she has to walk past you. And obviously if she walks past you, you can fight her, kill her, right? Big thing is put yourself in Ari's shoes. Ari right now, she wants to farm this last wave and then recall. So we should be doing the opposite. We should not be allowing her to do that, right? So play forward, play up here, push her off of the minion wave, zone her out of XP and gold range, right? So she's gonna lose XP and gold. But also you force her into a position where if she steps up, then you can go in and fight her with all of your abilities up. Versus us chasing her down and using all of our abilities to catch up to her, and then she just walks away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Any
I try
questions?
to memorize everything you say to try and use it later on.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I ha- what you said was I have to like see if I can win the trade, which here I obviously could. And what you said was I had to like walk up to her and stop her from farming the last minions, and that way I could have done two things. I could have shorted her XP, her gold,
Hmm.
and if she tried to walk up to farm the last minion, she would have ended up dying, and I would have got to waste her time. I
Exactly.
don't know if
Exactly.
yeah.
And then the other thing that we talked about too is that you're not wasting your own abilities, right? You're not using all of your damage just to get up to her, right? You didn't have to use your two Qs and your E just to get up to her. You're already, if she walks up, you're already on top of her. So all you have to do is walk up and start using your abilities. And then you get the full efficiency out of them. You get to use all of your Qs on her and get all your damage off of that, and then your W and your E, right?
Then ignite and she will have died. Yeah.
Yep. And even if she doesn't die, right? Because we're not always going to be get kills realistically. Even if she doesn't die, the good
And
thing is we force her out of the lane, and now she has to recall. And when she recalls, she's not going to be able to get any XP or gold. So if she recalls and we crash a minion wave into her tower, and the tower kills off her minions, she's not going to be there to get the gold and XP from it. So then we would get an advantage even though we didn't kill her. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Okay. Alrighty. And here, this is a good room. We kind of talked about this in game. Um, Realistically, it probably doesn't matter at this rank, but if you look at the mini map here, right here, you can see the. Here, let me play it. Just keep looking at the mini map. You can you can see the plant go off. And so whenever I'm roaming, I don't hit the plant unless I know that there's a ward in a certain place and I'm clearing the ward. Because otherwise, if people are looking at their mini map, they will see that you hit the plant, and then they'll just run away because they'll know you're down there. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So unless you're hitting it to kill a specific ward, then I just wouldn't hit it. And another thing too, yeah, okay, okay, well, that's fine. All right, so let's get into lane fundamentals, right? So here's a very big thing um, that kind of plays into winning and losing trades at all levels. That's ability usage. So we have four abilities, right?
Yeah.
We have our Q, we have our W, we have our E, we have our R. And then reversing RA. And for RA, it's literally the exact same thing, right? She's got her
Yep.
Q, her W, her E, her R, right? Let me label these just to make it easier. Okay, so in a perfect world, right? We each have 5 abilities. So if Ari uses one of her abilities and we still have all 5 abilities, who's more likely to win a fight? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just fucking sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we talked about 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 this the first session. I think you told me each ability is, let's say, 100 damage, and if she wastes one, she only has then 300 damage, and I have 400.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
So essentially, the point of that is that um, whenever she wastes an ability, we should be looking for some way to take advantage of it. And maybe it's not getting a kill on her or um, doing damage to her. Maybe it's just something as getting control over our wave and pushing it into the tower or something like that. By the way, when she uses an ability, we should use that to her advantage because we know she's missing out on that damage now, right? But that's something that I want to see you using consistently. I want to see you constantly abusing the fact that, she just wasted an ability, she's missing out on damage. Sorry, I completely forgot we went over that in our first lesson.
yeah. Don't worry, don't worry.
Okay. And then here, I mean, we've already talked about this a million times, but your potions, right? You still have a potion here. That's 100 health we could have had extra. Would it have saved us? Maybe not, but we should we should have still used it before she ignited us. Actually, probably would have saved you. Um, let me. So this is kind of what we were talking about, where it's important to put yourself in the opponent's shoes, right? If we're Ari right now, we know Riven's going to want to go for farm, right?
Yeah,
So when she sees you go for that minion, she hits her charm on you. And then now you're in kill range. After she uses her charm, she uses her W. And then she autos. What is she? She's waiting for her Q, but then she goes back in and kills you. My point is that you should also be thinking like the enemy champion, right? If you know that Ari is going to want to poke you when you go up for this minion, then you can pretend to go up for the minion like this, right? And then before she uses her Q, or maybe right when she uses her Q, you either E away or you sidestep it because you're prepared for it now. You know Ari's going to want to do that. So then you can sidestep it and dodge it, and then you can collect the minion afterwards. So that way you don't lose anything, you're just forcing her to waste an ability, and then you still get the minion on top of it. You're not losing any health for it. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So constantly ask yourself, what does the enemy champion want to do? And then play in a way where you can counter that. Prepare yourself. I know she's going to want to Q here, right? So in that case, I should use my E either before she Qs or to soak the damage from her Q. Or if I know she's going to try to land her charm on me when I get close to her, I can use my E to dodge the charm before she even throws it out. And so this is how you get challenger players that it looks like they have really fast reactions. They really don't. What's happening is that they're predicting how their opponent's going to play, and then it ends up looking like a reaction. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Red team has slain the dragon. There is no other way.
Okay. Now, a lot of these are going to be the same kind of mistakes. If there's anything I want you to take out of this, the big thing is that don't take fights that we don't have a good chance of winning. Right? We need to be taking our fights for a reason. Maybe they wasted an ability. Maybe we have more items than them or something, but we need to be taking them for a reason. Don't just randomly take fights. If we win fights, we take fights. If we don't win fights, we don't take fights. One of the big things. So this is kind of an advanced thing. Have you ever heard of tempo before?
Yeah, yeah. I watch a lot of videos of players who do know how to play, mostly Riven, such as Alois,
Mhm.
and I see him talking about tempo a lot.
Yeah, tempo, it can be very, very confusing, but I'm going to simplify it for you. Right now, realistically, you don't really need to worry about tempo because in these games, there really isn't any tempo. Um, Usually, tempo in a high elo game, or like you'll see it a lot in like pro games, right? If you watch Worlds, you'll see that when one team goes for the dragon, right? The other team, if they can't fight for the dragon or they know they don't win fights at dragon, they'll go for this objective, like the Rift Herald or the Baron, right? That's kind of tempo. Tempo is like the first person to get to a place kind of gets control over that area. And so the other team, because they can't get control over that area, they'll go do something on the other side of the map or somewhere else where they can benefit. So generally, right? Tempo can be kind of important in the mid lane because we're at the center of the map. There's a lot of decision making to be done at the center of the map. We can go from top lane if we want and go help our top laner. We can invade the jungle and put the enemy jungler behind. We can do it from this side too. We could assist our jungler. Maybe they're getting invaded. We can roam over and help them. Right? We can go bot lane. We can run over and help with objectives. There's a lot of different things for us to do in the mid lane, right? This is where tempo kind of comes into play. Tempo allows us a window of opportunity or a window of time to go do those things without being punished. Um, so more accurately, tempo is a period of time that you get where you cannot be punished for doing stuff around the map. And the reason this is important at mid lane is when we crash a wave, right? The enemy laner, let's say we crash a full minion wave, right? The enemy laner has to sit here and farm this wave. They have to sit here and kill this wave. And during the time that they're attacking this wave and killing this wave, we could go down bot, we could gank bot, and then we could come back up and not lose anything. Because all they've done is cleared this wave, and now the minions have returned back to their neutral state, meeting in the middle of the lane. So while that whole process is happening, we can go and do stuff around the map, and so we have tempo. We have tempo because we crashed the wave. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So crashing waves is very, very important in mid lane, and a good way of thinking of it is the bigger the wave is, the better the tempo is for us, or the more time we have with our tempo. So let's say we have 30 minions in a wave, right? And we crash this wave into
yeah,
tower, and it's against Ari. 30 minions is a lot of minions. It's going to take her a very long period of time to kill those minions. So while she's killing those minions, again, we have this time to go around the map and do stuff around the map where we're not going to get punished for it because we're not losing gold or XP. The minions are focused on the tower or, the champion, and they're not, um, we're not losing XP or gold for it. So during that time, we go and do stuff around the map. We can gank bot, we can go help our jungler, maybe even just a recall, you know? But we want to do something favorable for us. Sometimes that favorable thing is getting a recall off and getting our health and mana back, or going and buying an item to give us advantage. Or maybe it's something like invading the enemy jungler or jungle, stealing Raptor's camp, helping our jungle secure a camp or an objective from the enemy jungler, or maybe it's like, we go and roam top lane or we go and roam bot lane and gank for them. But either way, we should be doing something. We should be getting some kind of advantage when we crash a wave into the tower. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And again, the bigger the wave is, the more time that you have. If it's just one small wave like this, it doesn't really give you a lot of time to go and do stuff and to recall. Whereas if you have like a wave and a half built up or 2 waves built up and you crash it, you'll have time to go gank and come back or recall, right? Um, and do what you need to do, essentially. The good thing is if we combine that with what I taught you earlier about the cannon waves, right? Because the cannons soak up a lot of damage. We could crash one wave here, the wave before the cannon wave. We crash it into the tower, and then we go roam. We help bot, and then we might even be able to recall and come back to the tower or come back to the lane with an item advantage and have been able to help bot. Because we crash the wave. Ari has to sit here and defend the wave, and then after she clears this wave, it's a cannon wave. So the cannon, once she kills our wave and it goes to our tower, the cannon is gonna soak up a lot of the damage, and so by the time we get back to the lane, um, we don't we don't even really miss out on that much damage or that much XP or gold. I mean, because that cannon soaked up so much damage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I think those are kind of the main things I want you to focus on right now. Uh, we talked a lot about lane. We talked about tempo, and how to gain and use tempo. Something else I'll talk about real quick, right? Like I was saying earlier, we should always be thinking in the shoes of our opponent. So let's say the opponent is in our position where they crash a wave, right? Let's say Ari, and she's done this multiple times. Let's say Ari crashes a wave on us, and then she's full health, full mana, and we see her go like this. Right after she crashes the wave, she passes like this. What do you think is happening?
Is since I see Mordekaiser very extended on his lane, I think she must be going to run to top and try to help Kha'Zix.
Yeah, exactly, right? So because we have this knowledge about tempo and we're thinking in our opponent's shoes, and then we see her leave like this, we should know that she's probably going to top lane or maybe going to help jungle or something, but more than likely she's going top lane, right? And because we know she's going top lane, now we can use that to warn our teammate and maybe even punish her if we get the chance to, right? So maybe we could clear this wave and then roam bot lane because we know she's not going to be at mid lane to punish us, right? Or maybe you
Another,
just, huh?
um, another way I see to know where she's going at, it's like I can look at the map and see if my bot lane or my top is overextending. And from that information, I think I can get a nice guess to try and guess where she is going. Like,
Exactly.
let's say my bot is under their tower, but my top is right on the enemy side. Then she disappears and I don't know where she goes. Then I I assume that she is going top since she can't get any profit from going bot lane.
Good. Exactly. And that's something again that we can communicate in advance, right? And just tell our top line like, "Hey, Ari's coming top. You need to back off, or she's gonna gank you." Right? So communication kind of plays a big role in these games because we're one person out of 5 rules, right? So even if we win our lane every single game, we still have less than a 50% chance to win our games. So the big thing that's going to make a difference is impacting other people. So when you get tempo and you go and roam and you kill the bot laner or the enemy bot lane, and it helps your bot lane win their lane. Now you went from winning one roll to winning three rolls. So now you have a 60% chance of winning, right? Or let's say you roam top, right? You go and kill the top laner for your top laner. Now you have a 40% chance of winning, right? That's kind of a way to look at it. It's not necessarily true, but it's a way to kind of generalize it, right? So the idea is even if you win your lane every single game, you're not going to be able to impact other people. And so you're still not going to be able to win a large majority of your games if you don't have an impact on the other lanes. So this is why tempo is important in the mid lane, because this is our way of getting more control over our games. We can help other people. We can, we can get control over objectives. We can roam. We can assist in invades. We can help secure jungle camps, etc. So this is what we should be using our tempo for to make up for that issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think this is generally all I want to teach you for now. I think a lot of our mistakes are kind of just the same stuff over and over. But I want you to focus more so on lane and tempo right now um, than anything else. And then again, kind of like what we talked about objectives too. Objectives are just as important. Get used to try to get in the habit of like calling for objectives, right? So kind of like what we were saying, like you seeing advantages in lane and using those to punish the enemy laner, you should also be doing that for the enemy team as well. So if the enemy team has 4 people and you have 5, then you could maybe call for an objective like a dragon, right? Or if they have 3 people and you have 5, call for a baron or call for a rift herald or call for a dragon, right? Whenever there's somebody that's down on the enemy team, you should be looking to punish that in some way or have somebody punish it in some way. Maybe it's crashing a wave under the tower, or maybe it's destroying and killing a tower, or getting a baron, or getting 2 towers, right? But you should be punishing deaths in some way. Maybe it's even just getting ward coverage in the jungle or something. Um, and yeah, I think that's about everything. Like I said, a lot of the issues you have are kind of just repetitions of stuff that we've gone over. Once you fix those, I think you'll easily be able to climb out of gold, get plat, maybe even emerald. Once you fix some of those issues, um, there are 2 general things I want you to work on, and one big one is map awareness. I want you to get better at looking at your map more frequently. Personally, I look at my map every 2 seconds or so. I'll glance at my map, I'll see where everyone's at. If there's something interesting happening, like if you see a bunch of champion icons on top of each other, like this, or you see pings coming out, just click down real quick, see what's going on. Okay, nothing's going on. Okay, we're back to mid, right? But just be aware of what's going on in the other lanes so that when there is a situation that you can help out with, then you can go and help out with it, right? Let's say bot lane's getting ganked and you just crashed a wave, or uh, or let's say bot lane's getting ganked and you know if you head down here in the next couple of seconds, you can go get a kill, right? Or save them. Then you could crash your wave real quick and then you could head down bot lane. And because we were looking around and we got that information, we can get something out of it, right? Just be aware of what's going on. Something that's going to be big for you as a mid laner is seeing what your jungler is doing and the first couple levels, because oftentimes by like 3 or 4 minutes, there's some fight. Like the jungler is getting some kind of fight, whether it's a gank or they're fighting over scuttle crabs or something. There's usually something for you to help out on. So I want you to be more aware of those. Uh, kind of what's going on around the map. Another thing, I want you to start going into the practice tool and just practicing your combos. I want you to get more confident with with your ability usage and just being a lot more crisp and clean on your combos. So go into the practice tool and warm up for about 20-30 minutes before your games, and just again focus on doing those combos and practicing them so that you know them really really well. Try double casting,
Uh,
try fast comboing, stuff like that.
I do wait. I do that. Recently, yesterday, I went into the tool and went 2 hours practicing the double cast with R and Q. That was very hard for me because I wanted to masterize Shy combo and Adrian combo,
Good.
and I got it. Yeah.
One thing I will say, so there are a lot of different combos. Um, in my opinion, I don't think a lot of the combos really matter. The most important things that you can do is first of all double cast, and second of all, fast combo, right? Where you Q auto, Q auto, Q auto real fast. Those are the most important combos you do. Everything else is kind of secondary, because those are just about maximizing your damage, right? But the double cast and the fast combo, those will be big different makers, um, like big deciders on whether or not you get a kill. Like those will be kind of two big things that can make the difference between you getting a kill and not getting a kill. Versus the shy combo might be very very situational. Like once in 100 games, it's helpful and makes the difference between you getting a kill or not. So those are the two
Yeah.
big ones I would say is double cast and then fast combo.
I don't know if you know the Adrian combo. I don't know if that's its name, but I wanted to master it because it's very good for dives. It's E, auto attack, Q, and air double cast basically. And then if you use your air, then you can try to double cast air and Q in case your laner is still alive. But I don't know how to do fast combo. My problem is that every time I do it, well, not every time, but most of the times against, let's say, Mordekaiser or Darius, I usually just, after using my cooldowns, I am like basically dead. Like, they usually punish me a lot when I do fast combo.
Right, so that's the thing about the fast combo is you have to get used to it enough to where how do I explain it? You have to get so used to it that you're doing it so it doesn't take a long amount of time. Because if you're doing the fast combo and you're saying it adds on a lot of extra time and causes you to die, then you're not doing it correctly. Because the fast combo is actually the opposite. It gives you more damage output in a shorter period of time. So there's never a time when the fast combo would actually be bad for you, unless you well, yeah, there there really isn't a time where the fast combo would be bad for you.
No, what I mean is that when I mostly go all in, well, I usually, it's a big mistake of mine, but it's something I do a lot and I want to change it. It's that I usually do Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack, W, auto attack, E. But when I do that, the problem is that if they didn't die yet, then I am basically a sack, a boxing bag.
Um, okay, this isn't something I thought we'd have to talk about, but we can go over it briefly. So this kind of plays into what we were saying before about ability usage, right? Is your Q, like when your Q is down, you're missing an ability, right? When your W is down, you're missing another ability. When your E is down, you're missing three abilities now, right? And what you're saying is the issue is that when you go in, you do your fast combo, and then you use E and W, and now you've used three abilities, whereas the opponent has all of their abilities up, right? So just to clarify,
Yeah.
the fast combo specifically is just your Q. Um, you don't have to use the other abilities with it, but What
Yeah,
you're saying is very important, and this is why you'll see at like higher levels of play, people don't just use all of their abilities like that. They'll they'll stagger them or they'll extend them. So like extending your Q, do you know what that is?
yep,
So yeah, it's just you press your Q and then you wait until the maximum cooldown, like right before it's about to expire or whatever, and then you hit Q again. You do that 3 times, and essentially it makes it so you can use all 3 of your Qs, and then by the time your Q goes on cooldown, it's on a very short cooldown. Versus you using your Q 3 times, and now you have to wait like 10 seconds or something, right? And this can
yeah.
is hmm?
The reason why I don't usually use that is um, kind of funny, and it's that I see like a Lois, like he runs up the to the opponent, he auto clicks, auto attacks, Q, then auto attacks until the Q almost finishes and then uses it again. But I get scared of getting punished in that time between using my Qs, like for not getting passive and all that. Stupid, but kind of funny.
What do you mean? What are you scared of getting punished? Like in terms of like they use abilities while you're
Yeah, yeah. Like I Q, then I auto attack, and then I wait, and then I auto attack again and wait for my Q. But then let's say Ari, she could use her Q, or Darius could use his W. Let's say Garen could use his Q.
right. So that's more of matchup specific details. So you always want to optimize your ability usage to the specific matchup that you're doing. So maybe the Q, like maybe the Q combo is fine, but then you're up against Ari, right? And she presses Q, and you know she's gonna use her Q, right? Then, like we said earlier, you can use your shield to soak her E damage, and so you can still extend your Q damage, but you soak her damage. You pretty much you want to know the champion that you're against, and you want to know what your opponent wants to do, so that when they do something, you have an answer for it. So if Ari's gonna use her Q, you want to shield it because it's a lot of damage, right? It's her main damage output. So as long as you're using your abilities efficiently, then you're not going to be running into problems like this. Of course, there are matchups where Riven just gets countered, um, but I mean, I like Gragas is one of them, but there's very few like that, and I don't think I don't think you really need to worry about that, to be honest. Does that clear anything up, or is there something specific you have a question about?
No, I have no more questions.
Okay.
I have to like get on the training tool and try to fight matchups, but the bots are really bad.
You don't even need to fight matchups. I would recommend. So here's what I did when I got the last time I got masters. I just I would before every single game, or even then like champ select, right? I would see who I'm up against, and then I would go on YouTube real quick and I'd look up challenger Riven versus whoever I'm up against. So you want to play who you're playing first versus who they're up against. And then you'll see challenger blank versus blank. Check the date, make sure it's a recent game. You click on it, you skip to the laning phase and watch how they play it, and then kind of replicate that, right? Why are they using their abilities in the way they do? Why are they using their shield in the way they do? There's usually a reason for it, right? So just replicate the way they do things, and then when you're actually in that matchup, it becomes a lot easier because now you know what to do in certain situations. And then another thing is you can also do this if there's just a matchup you're confused about, right? Maybe you just lost a game versus Timo and you want to know how to fight Timo. Then you can go look up that same thing and spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes watching a challenger player play versus Timo. and look how different it is and see what what they do right and ask yourself what you did wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny for you. It's funny that you mentioned Timo because I recently got fucked on every hole I have by a Timo. Like 111. I got destroyed.
Yeah, believe it or not, Riven actually does very well against Teemo. In fact, well,
Yeah,
no, I usually get to destroy, let's say, 70% of Timos I find. But this time I got fucked really bad, like really bad. yeah,
I tried everything. I tried air flash. Uh, I tried using ignite all at once, but never got results. He just killed me over and over and over and over again. And if I try to stay on the tower, he will just walk, use his Q, and then go away.
yeah. Good Teemos will auto you. They'll go and auto you and then get out of tower range real quick, and then they'll Q you. Um, but there's a lot of different tricks you can use to facing Teemo. Like I said, I think your best bet would just be watching a challenger player play it and see how different it looks. The important part is that when he uses Q, if you are on top of him, you want to stun him. You want to use your W because while you can't do damage with your autos, he can't do damage with his autos. So it kind of cancels it out. Um, and then, I mean, generally, if you can get on top of Teemo without using more than one or two Qs, then you can beat him. The big thing is just you just gotta extend your abilities really in that matchup and make sure you use your W on his Q. Um, but that's one of those things, like I said, that you would benefit a lot from just watching a challenger player play it and really analyze it. There's a big difference between just watching it and analyzing it. Like ask yourself, why are they playing like that? Why are they using their abilities in that specific way? And sometimes they make mistakes, but a lot of times there's a reason for what they're doing. All right. Any more questions?
No, I think I'm fine. I'm going to play right after our session and try to use all you teach me and try to get it into my brain.
Okay. Good. Let me know if you have any further questions.
Hopefully it works.
Good. Yeah, I'll be here. So
I
if
just
hmm?
talk.
I was just gonna say I'll be here. So if you have any questions or anything, just send me a message on Discord. And obviously I work and stuff, but I'll try to answer you whenever I can. And if you need another session, then we can have another session. But let's give it some time.
Yeah,
Take some time to
it's
try to implement those things. And if we hit a wall from there and we're struggling, then we can do another lesson.
okay. Okay.
All right.
I pray to God to not find a Timo.
um, I'm gonna give you. Are you on my Discord server?
No, no, no. You can send me the invitation.
Okay. Um, you don't have to join if you don't want to, but I'll link it to you. If you do join, I'll give you the client rank, and it just lets you leave feedback. So there's a channel called client dash feedback, and you can kind of just leave a review on what you thought of the lesson, and if it's negative or positive, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it up. Like I'm not gonna like censor you or stop you from talking. So just say to leave an honest review, and it'll stay there for people to see.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, you have a
Yeah,
good day.
I am very happy to be honest. The two times we you gave me coaching, I'm very happy really. You explain very good the things. You keep to understand what you mean. You explain like let's say for a stupid person, because in this moment in League of Legends I am kind of stupid, really. So I leave a positive review.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's don't consider yourself stupid. It's just League is a big learning curve, and just because you're lower ranked doesn't mean that you're stupid. In fact, I had a student that was a platinum Akali player, and I told him he's a better Akali player than I am. His mechanics are better than mine, but there's other stuff that he needs to work on. So just because you're lower ranked doesn't mean that you're a terrible player. There's just you just have more stuff to focus on.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I hope you have a great day. Again, I'm here if you have any questions or anything, but uh, I'll
Okay.
catch you later.
Wait, what channel was it to leave a review?
So it's the client dash feedback. It's three channels under the
Okay,
welcome
okay.
channel. Alrighty.
I need a rule or something.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
sorry. Yeah, let me get that to you real quick. Yeah. Okay, try now.
Okay, I can right now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, as soon as we cut the call, I will leave the review. I
Okay.
appreciate a lot your time and your effort to help me out. And if I see any results, you will be the first one to know. I promise.
Okay. Sounds good. Like I said, I'm always here if you have any questions or anything. All right.
All right.
All right. You have a good day. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Again, thank you a lot, a whole lot. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome,
goodbye,
man.
dude. I hope you have a great day
Thank you. You too.
and a
Bye
great
bye.